All right, everyone. Welcome to Step Up Bar episode 16. This is the gaming edition overall, so it may be pretty spicy or maybe just very lukewarm, depending on what we all have to say here. But yeah, as all of us are gamers, I'm sure we will have some really interesting takes and experiences that we would like to share with each other. Once again, I'm with my fellow co-hosts, Kou, War, Strider, Alex, and Ryu. Yeah, we're gonna be going over some of our favorite gaming experiences and also the most disappointing game, not necessarily the worst game, but the most disappointing game we have played. And with that, I guess we'll go ahead and kick things off with you, Kou. What has been your favorite gaming experience? It could be a good memory, or maybe just like a really fun time or something. Yeah.
I need to think about this.
All right, we'll get back to you. How about that?
Yeah, I need to think about this.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and start you off, Strider, then.
So my favorite gaming experience comes from when I was still playing Monster Hunter Tri. Honestly, the first online experience where I was actually playing with a group of friends who I never met in real life, because online gaming was that before Discord existed. Just playing at long nights, just like randomly every day, like around 7 o'clock, just hopped on Monster Hunter Tri, played with these random friends I made, and that was amazing.
That was honestly one of like the first big games to really like, especially in the portable areas, that like really like, you know, had the co-op multiplayer aspect going for it.
Mm-hmm.
All I heard is that the game that like fucks up your fingers?
No.
Or that's the 3DS game?
That's probably a 3DS game.
Yeah, what was Tri on again?
I was on the Wii.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I thought it was the PSP.
Yeah, I remember some of the PSP ones. Yeah,
Monster Hunter Freedom's on the PSP.
Ah, yeah, I do remember playing a little bit of that one. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't get into it at the time. I know that, but it was like I remember playing it.
Back then, it was so hard to get into unless you were really into it.
Yeah, because like I remember what some of my my cousins' sons and all that type of deal, like who were my age, you know, that basically like yeah, they were like into it and they were telling me, showing me all this stuff. I was like, oh, this looks really cool. Then I started playing it, and you know, because he didn't really walk you through how most of it worked, I was like, what am I supposed to be doing here? And that type of deal and stuff like that. And then eventually it's like, yeah, I just dropped it pretty quickly on that. Yeah.
Oof.
It did look fun though from what I saw, and I think I did like have fun with it, but I was like, this seems like there's just too much to do just to hunt monsters at the time. And I was like, I don't know how old I was then, like 12 maybe 10. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Possibly.
but yeah, goodness, dude, Wii Online days. That too.
Wii Online, it was one of like 4 Wii Online games that could actually be played more for like over an hour.
Mm-hmm. You know that,
because everything else was terrible on the Wii Online service.
Did you actually?
God, yeah.
Yeah. Did you actually have like? Was the game actually pretty good too? I never really heard much about that one. Yeah.
It was pretty good. It just didn't have much content, so it's just like after you did everything, you really had nothing else to do.
Yeah, that was what I remember hearing, was like there wasn't really much updates to it and all that. So it's like,
yeah, this was pre
DLC stuff. Yeah,
DLC stuff.
Yeah.
How did you control it?
Very difficult with the Wiimote.
Yeah.
You actually had to
Did it
do
have
motion
motion
actions.
controls?
Yeah.
There were a couple motion actions that needed to be done. I had to tilt the Wiimote to do certain combo strings.
Oh wow.
Yeah, tilt left, tilt right, hold straight up.
Hmm. Did you have to like maybe swing it around here and there too for some stuff?
No, not really.
Okay, yeah. So they didn't go like crazy with it at least.
No, it did not go that crazy.
He had to physically do the flips.
Like,
do a flip!
Yeah, like the Wii games back then, you know, like some of them went really like really hands-on with like the whole like motion controls, so they have you like tying yourself out in like the first 20 minutes. That's a big deal. So I was kind of curious, like since Monster Hunter is very action heavy, that was one of the games. But no, listen, they kind of were good about that.
They were.
Oh man, yeah, the Wii Online days. The only thing I really played on there, I think, was like, was it Brawl that was on the Wii? I don't know. It's like
Yeah, that was the Smash.
Brawl was on
Yeah.
the Wii, but damn, online
Yeah,
services,
online
that
was terrible.
So terrible.
yeah, online was very very terrible.
We don't like to talk about them days.
When Mario Kart Wii was the best like online
that
thing you
was
had.
that was
Oh
the best
my
one.
God.
That
yes.
tells you just how like bad the online service can get.
I mean, to
Mario
be
Party
fair,
didn't
like,
have it.
to be fair, Mario Kart, like, it's hard to fuck up Mario Kart.
It really is, yeah. I mean, you can kind of see with how they haven't released a new one in a long time either.
Yeah, we just got an update to 8 and that's it.
You get more maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting more maps now.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's
Infinite-
like more my attitude towards games. Like, if you're not gonna give me a new one, if I really like the previous one, just keep adding content to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a live service, I guess.
Mhm.
So, which they did over like fighting games.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
What about you, War? What was your favorite gaming experience?
Possibly Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010.
Ooh, what made that one special for you?
I don't know. I just loved driving a lot of cars back then, and then the special abilities was pretty fucking awesome.
What were these special abilities you are mentioning here?
As I basically spike strips, EMPs. What else? There's like 2 exclusive for each one. 1 exclusive for each one. Exclusive for Racer was Turbo, like
Mhm.
you go really fast, and then Cops was possibly the helicopter. I don't remember.
Wait, which game was this again? Like Need for Speed, you said? Or-
Yeah, Need for Speed 2010.
Why did they have these like power-up things that sounds like it's some battle racing game? Not that it's a
It's basically cops and robbers, dude.
okay. Yeah. I never really knew like the differences between each of them, so that like this is all kind of new to me.
I got like a remaster like not too long ago. I think like 2 years ago or last year,
Mhm.
and it's cross play now, so you can play it on Switch, PS4, and PC.
Okay. Was that like your first racing game, or is just the one you had the most fond memories of? You would say.
I have the most fond memories. The first one was definitely the very first Burnout.
That one I remember hearing a lot back then. On the Burnout series. That was like the racing game for a while. On that, yeah.
Insert We Are the Lazy Generation from Burnout 3 Takedown.
I remember that.
Dude, I'm incapable of playing card games. They're impossible to me.
Same,
I could teach you.
same.
I could teach you guys. It's not that hard. Your shit is pretty easy.
I personally just wasn't interested in them, but I always find it kind of entertaining to watch someone play them for a little while, though.
Yeah, well, the later ones, the Breakthrough Drift is very different for me for them.
What about?
Are you a car guy, War?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that makes
I got
sense.
into it thanks to my dad with Fast and Furious, the first one.
Oh, yeah. A lot of my cousins were also like car fans too, so that's why they had like all the racing games too, on that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the big thing too. Was like I was never a big car person. Personally, I actually hate driving, and I would rather avoid it if I can. So it's like that's why a lot of like I never really went out of my way to get any of those games.
I also had like a
Understandable.
racing game on my old N64, if I remember correctly. I forgot the name though.
The only one I played was F-Zero. Yeah. And Mario Kart, I guess,
Funny-
64. Yeah.
Funny enough, I did find my own N64 in the garage, and I had WWE Warzone.
Ooh.
Let's go!
Yeah, I never got to play that one, I think, but I remember like seeing gameplay of it back then, and I was like, oh, like that looks so fun. Yeah.
Is that like the arcade ones, the 2D ones?
I think there was a 3D one, though it was like N64 3D-ish, at the time.
Yeah, N64 3D.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for sharing there, War. But,
No problem.
what about you, Ryu? What was your favorite gaming experience?
There's so many. There's so many. I really kind of had to dig deep when we were in this because my earliest memories with video games comes from Super Mario 64.
Ooh.
When I was but a wee little Ryu, before I realized that a coffee ninja was my true calling. It was when I was like 4 years old. it was. This is gonna sound so damn weird. I decided to go for my earliest one on this. So when N64 originally launched, I was but like 3 or 4 years old at the time. I didn't have a N64 until I was like, God, I was like 10 or something like that. But I was always my godmother always babysat me, and her oldest son had all the up-to-date like gaming systems of the day. Like he got hold of a complete PS1. He had an old SNES that I played on every now and again, and of course N64. And me and him would always hang out and play Super Mario 64. He could not beat Final Bowser for the life of him. And then I tried it, and I beat Final Bowser before he could.
Damn.
He still does not let me live that down to this day. He's like, I can't believe that you, as a 4-year-old child, beat Mario 64's final boss before I did. I can't believe it. Like, you sat, like, literally for a year, you sat in our living room while I was playing Legend of Dragoon on the TV, and you were just in ooh and awe of everything. And you, a literal 4-year-old child, beats Final Bowser before me.
Damn, he has a grudge, man.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a grudge on that, but I mean, he was kind of the influences to like how I play games and how I view media. So, I mean, I view him as a big brother and as a definite positive influence on my life. So that's kind of like one of my earliest favorite memories when it comes to video games.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I had like, for me, I had this one cousin that was definitely like, that had all the new game systems too. So it was always like really fun to go to their house and like play some stuff and all that, just because, and because they had similar enough interests to me, that's like, yeah, they're like a lot of games that they always got were things I enjoyed too. And then I got into like, gaming mainly because, like my cousins got introduced it to me too. I don't really know what was the first game they introduced me to, but I do remember having like a very faint memory of like playing Smash Brothers on the N64 ones when it launched. I was like really young then. I don't know what year that launched, but I know I was like under 10 for sure. That's a deal. And then it did eventually like they helped me get like a Super Nintendo and a Game Boy Color after that.
Oh my god, I remember fucking like when I was a kid and I was around there and I was like fucking around with the game and with Mario 64 and stuff like that. Like all the stars were collected. I didn't have anything to do. I accidentally stumbled into the BLJ. I was accidentally stumbling into like the glitches that would make the Mario 64 speedruns.
God damn.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I have a lot of like good memories with that game in particular, and I still have my original copy from when I had my N64.
Yeah, 64 definitely had a lot of memories for it too, because my next door neighbor had it, so like we were such like run to play the game and try to like get the stars together. That was always a great memory. And like I remember we had like I remember like we were always amused by like some of the things you put in there, like how there's this monkey that steals your hat, that type of deal, and and the whole like
fuck that monkey. That monkey is an asshole.
Yeah, and then like the penguins and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I did. That's like looking for their mom. You could pick up the penguin or just chuck it off the cliff if you really want to. That type of stuff. It was like
That Pingu.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I so many good memories of Mario 64. Still play it to this day. Can't recommend it enough.
It is definitely one of those games that you can very much go back to and still enjoy, I would say. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. What about you, Alex? What is your favorite gaming experience?
There's too many of them. A lot of them are with like other people, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like growing up, like I remember playing I think like Zelda Force Sword with my friends. With the
oh my god!
What's it called, the fucking Advance?
Yeah. So you had the cable links and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to their house and they had it set up, and I played with them. That was like amazing. Fucking sneaking at night to play like Silent Hill games. when I was a kid, like while my parents were sleeping, to fucking like I used to have a neighbor who would he was like he was Japanese. He was going back and forth between the countries, and he would bring me game. Like I befriended him. He was a little older than me. He gave me games from Japan over there for RPGs. So I would play them early, then before they came to America, and he would translate them for me, which is really fun. And talking to him, because I played like Final Fantasy Type 0 for the PSP, and I played like Tales of Exalia before they came over here.
Oh my
Which was
god.
really cool. He was a really cool dude. It's funny because I look back on that day and I was like, why would this like older guy hang out with a kid like me? But then he's like, but the more I think about it, he's like, I think he didn't have much. He had friends, but he didn't have like people to talk about like his hobbies. So he's a like, and so he talked to me. So he found a kid like me who like was into the stuff like he was. So he kind of latched onto that. But like, a lot of my favorite moments are like from Mario Party, just fucking with my friends. I think my favorite moment was like one of my we're like psychopaths. Me and my friends were psychopaths when we play Mario Party. Like,
Oh my
once we
God.
get to a point where like, oh, we can't win. Okay, we're gonna make it as painful as possible for the other player. So
It's almost like the Strider method, except he continually kicks me while I'm down.
Hey,
it's so hilarious.
it
Am
was
I right,
hilarious. It was hilarious. And it was a special stream for you.
Just because it was my birthday doesn't mean that it had to necessarily be for me. Actually, no, wait. It wasn't just my birthday. It was the extra. You did it for the extra life thing too, you asshole.
For Extra Life, we were dealing with Jake's fucking stupid internet, and I was bored.
Fair enough.
Like, me and Double wanted to leave, like, after 3 turns of how shitty the internet was with Jake.
I can't fault you. Shitty internet can cause a sour mood.
That is true.
Like one thing, like for Mario Party 7, because in that game there's an orb system. The orb system is like you basically get an item, you can either use it on yourself or throw it.
Oh, I do remember
There's
that
an
one.
item-
Yeah, I do remember that one.
There's
I
an item
think-
called a thwomp. Oh, go on, Ryu.
I think they introduced that for 5, took it out for 6,
They
and then
introduced no,
Yeah.
they go 5, 6, and 7. They just
5, 6, and 7 had the orb.
Yeah, they improved on that.
I know they tweaked it like after 5 because I've played 5 more often than 6 and 7.
Yeah,
so.
I don't remember the throwing, but I do remember the orbs. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me.
5 is
I
like,
re-
really
I-
annoying.
I remember the throwing.
Yeah, it's really you could throw it in like in 5. The problem with 5 is that it costs money to use them.
Ah,
So you-
okay.
On yourself, you have to pay to use
Yeah,
them.
on yourself to use them. So and you have to throw them mostly. It's a little more. You're less inclined to use them because it costs so much money.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Like 5 and 6, 6 and 7 makes them better. But in 7, there's a thwomp item where you throw it, and and anyone who passes it like stops them immediately. It doesn't matter how many like movement speed you have, it stops you. So on the last turn, we're by the boo, and all 3 of us have the thwomp. We threw 3 of them in front of him. It's like the last 4 turns. So he hit for the last 4 turns. He did not move at all. So he hit every single one of them. At the same time, we were taking all his stars and all his like fucking coins.
Oh my god.
And my favorite thing is like he was yelling at us. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking DC. I'm gonna DC. I'm gonna DC." And my friend yelled at him, "Motherfucker, you're in my house. What do you mean you're gonna DC? I'm gonna DC your fucking life, you son of a bitch."
Oh boy, oh man.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking hilarious that we're just so unhinged on when we play fucking Mario Party.
You turned into Call of Duty gamers.
Dude, it's so great. We're so it's so fantastic. I love it.
Oh, the toxicity of Mario Party. Glad to say
What?
that it's still going on for generations.
Oh God.
Patty! Patty! Strider, please. No. No. No! Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Jeez, what the heck?
No! Just leave me alone! Come on! Come on! I fucking hate it here! Bro!
Yeah, well.
It's funny because when we're a lot older, and a lot of us times when we ever get mad like that, we always like get the fucking ghetto shit out of here, dude.
Oh my
Sounds-
gosh.
Sounds like my brother's friends as well.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah,
God.
and when the new one came out, one of the favorite thing to do is like fucking steal money from like bunch of like from like the last player just to fuck with them.
Oh man.
Why are you doing this to me? Well, you know what? You know what they say. Senpai tax.
Yes, Ryu.
I guess Alex is invited for the next Mario Party Ryu's hosting.
Dude, what I do is like for the spaceship map, there's a part where you could loop. What I do is I loop, I get a key, I go into chance time and steal everyone like just to fuck with people. And then I do that twice. I make sure I have like the block that like you could pick your movement.
Yeah.
I do that twice to fuck with people. And I just
Oh
do
my
that the whole
God.
entire game.
Alex, you are one sadistic son of a bitch.
Dude, it's so fun to fuck with people, dude. Like who cares about winning? Just like
Chaos of the highest order. I love it.
oh,
He's
it's funny
chaotic
'cause-
evil, alright.
It's funny because the guy like that we fucked with, my friend, he still won at the end, but he was so mad that he
He
did not
still
feel
won.
good. He did not feel good at the end.
That was actually kind of incredible though, in a way that he actually still won with that. Yeah.
Yeah, he had like bonus stars and shit. He was like,
He was winning in everything else, but was losing.
yeah. But at the end, we're the ones smiling.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, that was like like that was one of those cases where it's like even when he wins, he still loses. You know that there, yeah.
He won. He won the battle, not the war. You won the mental mind games. Well done. Well done. Top shelf.
He mind broke him.
Yeah. Like moments like that, playing with my friends, or like making like back in the day when we were like into like FaZe Clan shit, we were playing like Call of Duty and making edited videos.
Oh my
posting on
gosh.
YouTube and getting like one view.
FaZe
It's fucking
Clan.
great.
Good old days.
Putting like copyrighted music at this point now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
definitely pretty much a thing back then. Yeah, when all these like montages were at its height too. And on that, yeah. I remember watching tons of Halo montages.
Yeah. Oh, dude, my favorite thing about Halo was like playing the custom maps on Halo 3.
Oh my god.
Playing like Fat Man and shit, and like Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt was really fun. I enjoyed that one. Yeah. But, yeah, like the fucking with the friends thing kind of reminds me like how like a few years back like my housemate's friend like would kind of like friend or friends depending on like who is hosting would normally host like a get together at their place just to basically do 8-person Smash Ultimate, that type of deal, and like it always ends up devolving into like my housemate is a natural villain, so everyone likes to gang up on him, that type of deal, and like and so everyone always normally like cheers against him and stuff like that. But he also like, but besides that, the other than us like purposely sabotaging him at times, that type of deal. It's like we had one instance where like one of his friends came to town from California and all that, and then like we all got together to play some Smash Brothers, and then like while like my housemate was going off like I think like conversing with other people like that, like his friend who came from out of town made like quickly like asked all of us to basically gang up on the guy, and then he like gave us all fist bumps to let us know we're in on the plan. So like as it was kind of amusing afterwards, but like when we played the game and like my housemate was like very confused as to like how everyone was playing very strange, and I had to put up an act too, so I had to like beat him down a few times when he got sent my way and such. But we had one memory I remember of that one though, screwing with him, was like one of the other things that normally happens trope wise is he and one of his friends who is his fighting game rival of sorts. And they normally a lot of these like get-togethers eventually devolve to the two of them just duking it out and getting hella salty. So one map, I think it was, I think it was maybe like I can't remember. It's either Battlegrounds, like it's the one with the
Battlefield.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, the one with the where it's like, you know, Final Destination, but with the platforms on that. The three,
Battlefield.
yeah, like basically, I think it was that one where they're like duking it out at the end, and it was like me and then those two, and they were just duking it out hardcore, and that type of deal, just like basically trying to, you know, settle their salt for the night. And I was like being pretty respectful, you know. I went ahead and like watched their duel, and like it looked like my housemate was actually gonna win the duel. So then I joined the fray and then knocked him out. then I beat his friends, and it got him hella salty because he was actually gonna go like basically hit his friend off of the off the ledge, and he was gonna go finish him off there, only for me just to basically sneak kill him, and then to kill off his friend, and then I hit him with, and he was like hella salty, he got up and he was in my face. He was like, "Why the hell did you do that?" And I pretty much hit him with the Gilgamesh line, like, oh, like, it was like it was a Gilgamesh line from like the Unlimited Blade Works, like TV show where he barely loses to Shiro, barely technically loses to Shiro in the sense of his pride. So that's a big deal. You know, that it was like, yeah, the victory was yours, Joseph. You know, that's what you can die knowing that. That's a big deal.
Damn.
It was like, yeah,
Just damn.
yeah, it was pretty amusing though.
It's funny because my friends have something like that for me for worms. Do you know what worms are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the best one in the group with worms. So they made up a thing called what's called the AAR system, which is an annoying aggro Alexis range, where they would make sure I'm handicapped by killing a bunch of my worms first. But they don't kill me too much, because if they kill me too much, I'll get annoyed and I'll sabotage all their worms at once. So they're trying to piss me off, but not piss me off too much that I went to.
It is almost time to go nuclear.
It's so annoying to play worms with them.
Garbage style.
But those are like my moments.
Yeah,
just playing with friends.
No,
That's my favorite one.
I think those are those are always gonna be like some of the best moments, truthfully. No, honestly, yeah. No, honestly, that was really eventful. But all right, now that you had some time to think, Kou, what are your favorite gaming experiences?
Oh man, mine's gonna be so boring because I didn't grow up gaming until like high schoolish. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure you have something very colorful to share.
No. No, it's more like, man. It's more like your parents are more Asian than you. I'm more Asian, I guess. It feels more Asian, yeah. But whatever.
Tiger? Tiger?
I don't know. I don't know what's the right term, but they just raised me to be like more to be like doing more extracurricular than gaming.
Okay.
Yeah, my sisters and I were kind of raised like that. My mom actually crated up my video games. I didn't get access to them until senior year of high school again.
I just didn't play. I mean, I had consoles, but I always had to like share with a sibling, or like I have a limited time of playing. But so I think this was during high school. But me and one of my closest friends at the time, we both like huge anime fans and stuff like that. So we had stuff to talk about. But for me, I was more of a gamer than she was. But I think I can't remember if it's I that introduced her to this or she introduced me to it. But either way, we both really somehow fell in love with visual novels at that time.
Oh.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. And the visual novel was still not translated. It's only been translated into 2 languages, to my knowledge.
During that time, they were very niche too. That's actually like, it was hard to find someone else that actually read those. Yeah, even more for Ultimate games, which is the ones that we played. I can't remember like I said, I can't remember if I'm the one who introduced it, but I think there was like 2. Yeah, one series that we got really hooked on was Tokimeki Memorial Girls Side. Well, that sounds very familiar, actually.
Yeah. Tokimeki Memorial should be familiar. It's Gaduge from God knows when. I really don't know where it came from. And then they have a spin-off, which is the Girls Side, and it's like the Ultimate game version. So yeah, both of us got really hooked on it. I was reading the Japanese version and struggling because my Japanese at the time was not that great. And there was one that was like translated in Chinese, so my friend was reading that one. And so we both were like, so I really like this because like while we both have anime to talk about, there's not much else to talk about, and then somehow we got into visual novels, and then we have more stuff to talk about, which is great. And during high school, everyone was, I don't know about you guys, but for me, high school was really busy. Even like from like grade 9 to all the way to 12. All of us are like just like constantly focusing on school.
Yeah.
So yeah, like both of us just like talk about the games, talk about visual novels, other visual novels, and then we just keep talking all until we graduated.
Do you still keep in touch with that Otome game friend here and there?
Not anymore. I think both of us kind of just got busy.
Yeah, that's
Mostly
kind
me.
I mean, that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like meet any like fellow weebs until like I got to uni, where like it was finally starting to be acceptable to be a weeb.
Like I hear that like I don't know if this is true for everyone here, but I hear stories about anime not being so popular, you guys get bullied and shit like that. For me, I don't have that experience whatsoever.
I just took up verbal abuse from somebody for liking anime one time.
Yeah, none of that happened to me. So I was just like, I don't know. Well, I don't know that experience. Somehow during my school years, it's just like somewhere along the lines, everyone started liking anime. Like in the beginning, it's like nobody really talked about it, and then somehow something changed. All of us talked about anime.
Yeah, it was definitely intriguing for sure.
Yeah, but nobody got bullied, so I'm just like, I don't know how that feeling.
Yeah.
Unless it's not Dragon Ball, you're not bullied.
Yeah, like back in high school, like for me, like playing video games, if you weren't playing Call of Duty or like a sports game like that, then you would get bullied for playing video games because you'd be like a nerd or something like that type of deal. And same went with anime, be like, why are you watching this weird cartoon kid shit type of deal.
Yeah, even for video games, for me, like nobody really got bullied unless you're nobody really got bullied for playing games. Everyone will bully you if you're in the gaming sphere and play League. But the League spheres are dissing themselves. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Why does it always have to be League?
I don't know. Everyone should, like, every League player disses themselves and everyone else.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, League didn't really start to like become a big thing in my vicinity until like pretty much like senior year of high school and freshman of uni, so about 2012 or so. Like it was picking up steam though, because I played in like their preseason one on that type of deal, which like I still have a video of that. That type of deal where it's like 13-14 years ago or something like that type of deal. So like I played a little bit during that time, but then I did not get back into it until like their official, like their end of their last season 2. But it was like in between that time though, it was like definitely like skyrocketing in popularity, but it didn't really make it like during my high school years, so it didn't hit that point yet. And then when I started freshman in uni, that was when it actually like started hitting that point, so now everyone knows about it. That's a deal. But yeah.
Yeah. For me, during my high school, actually majority of the guys were playing League. And then it's like the boyfriends of the girls that some drag the girls into the League. And I'm like, that's a horrible idea.
It was the only thing free.
Like,
it's not a joke. It was like one of like 10 games that was free that you could play for long times.
Yeah.
Like
players having relationships, I don't believe it.
I'm not sure. I was just like, I was seeing it, and I'm just like, that's a horrible idea. I don't play it, but I feel like that's a horrible idea.
Like the reason I got into it was like I had all these like Chinese friends that played it too. So they were like on board with it, that type of deal, and then they just hooked me into like, hey, you gotta play this with us, and I was like, all right. So that was like what got me into the game initially. And then when I went to uni, like I had one of my best friends that I would meet there, like he got me really into it because he was like big into it.
No.
Yeah, we took part in tournaments and stuff like that when I was there.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, your problem.
Please don't tell me you jacked Tyler too.
No, Tyler. I didn't meet Tyler until like my last couple years, and so this is like before I even knew of Tyler, and yeah. But yeah, we took part in like a few tournaments and we did reasonably well on that type of deal. Like we never made it to the finals of our school tournaments, mainly because the best team that was there at the school tournaments had a bunch of people that were challenger that type of deal, that. So like Challenger is like the peak of like rank play in League of Legends. So like, and they like in that team in particular won all the tournaments since they've been into school and all that type of deal. So like, yeah, they like, as far as I know, like during the time that they were in school, they were undefeated up until they graduated. That type of deal. They never lost a tournament. So they always like made it to the finals. They always got the Riot sponsored prizes because Riot actually did give our school prizes on that. Because like they give us like they give like our school like all these like Riot skins, which at the time you couldn't buy through the store. You had to get it through a Riot employee on that, and then like and some other things too. So it's like, yeah, so like that type of deal, and they like sold for $30 too for some of them too if you actually like already had the skin.
They knew the meta.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
did they meet a girl?
That I don't know. I mean, it was engineering school, so the ratio was like, I don't remember what it was. It was like, I think of it.
It'd be the engineers.
It was like, I think it was like, I want to say it was, I think it was like 11-1 or something like that. That's a deal. So it's like,
Oh shit.
yeah. So like there was not that many, yeah, over there. So like a joke in the uni was just basically like, oh yeah, there's no girls here. No girl goes to the school. And that's a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, but yeah, like it is amusing to hear that story though, Isekai. I mean, Kou, you gotta remember the names here. But yeah, it's like,
It's okay.
yeah, it's like, but yeah, it's like, I only knew like one person ever that read visual novels around that time period too, and it was only the Fate Stay Night novel that, well, he probably read more actually. He told me a bit about more, but I don't remember their names. It was just the Fate Stay Night one was the one he told me a lot about because that's when Fate was starting to make its way over on that and like get more popular. So like they just released the Dean Stay Night at the time and stuff like that, and then like Unlimited Blade Works was coming out. That's how I did the movie. That's yeah. So it was like starting to get there, and that yeah.
Yeah, visual novels was really niche. It's still niche.
It
Actually.
still is, but it's more. Maybe it's just because internet's better now. That's how it is, so you can
it's
find more
like-
people.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's like, but I was gonna say, but it's at least you can find more people that have read it. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as for me, my gaming experience, there's really two. It's basically like, it's more on the competitive side on my end. Like I had one where like I joined in like I think the first anime convention I went to, I took part in a Halo Reach free-for-all tournament. That? Yeah, like it had 3 rounds. And I had 3 rounds of elimination. That type of deal. Like the round being the final round where whoever wins it all. And like I remember like my sister took part in it too. And like the person hosting the thing like made sure to told everyone to like check their controls because because some people have different control schemes. But my sister didn't pick it up. So when she began the game like that, she was so confused as to why her controller wasn't doing like the actions that she thought it would be doing, and then found out way too late by that it's because the like control scheme was changed. That. But then meanwhile, I actually popped off pretty hard. That type of deal. So I made it through the first round of elimination, and then like made it through the second round as well. And I was actually creating some waves in the study because there were a lot of people that are like commenting like, what the hell? It's like because like everyone was called like Nexus Freeman in that one there. So yeah, it was like such a deal. And they like in like a lot of people were just saying my particular Nexus Freeman. They're like, well, what? They're like, what the hell? Like, how are you putting all these shots? And then it got to the final round of elimination, and I like it was getting pretty bad for me because I went on a cold streak around the middle of it. So you played up to 25 kills, and you basically like and I was at 18 and I was around the middle of the pack, and like the top player notched his 23rd kill at the time, so he only needed 2 more, and in an 8v in a like free-for-all 8-person battle royale, it's like basically that should be a matter of quick time. But he for some reason though went on the cold streak at the end, and then I like got hot around the end, so I got a killing spree that put me up to 23. That, and then I got 1 lucky kill like after one of my deaths like to put me up 24, and then I looked at the scoreboard when I was spawning. I was like, oh no, it's me and 2 other people tied. And so everyone needed the 1 kill left, and I happened to spawn right below a firefight, but I couldn't get up there naturally. But thankfully, because I played this game a lot, I knew a trick jump to get up to that platform. So I did the trick jump to get to the platform and picked off the last guy to win the whole thing. And that like and all that, and my prize for that was just bragging rights because it didn't really have any prizes there. That was like, yeah, that was like one of my fond memories. The other one I had was like I took part in a fighting game tournament. And like they had a pretty legitimate setup. There was like a crowd and stuff like that there, and like they had like this big projector, that type of deal that like put it that on the screen, and like basically like I remember like I made it to the top 8 that there in that one, and like and I had some like very dramatic matches of like, because they even have a commentator too, which was really cool for the crowd. They had like a commentator who was like giving his feedback and like some of the things going on. So that's like you were hearing like all these like all the cheers and like all the like the surprise noises and stuff like that. And then like I made it to the top 8, and like some of my buddies like showed up too, basically heard that I made it to the top 8, so they were trying to cheer me on, and I just got barely eliminated at the very end there. And then probably like I guess like semi-related to it, in another fighting game tournament I ended up playing against my housemate, that, and like and like it created, and like a lot of the buddies that knew us, like they're like, oh, and all that there, like because they knew that like like, oh, this is gonna be an amusing one to watch. And I actually did really well early on, that like that type of deal. Like I did really well early on, but he ended up beating me in the end though. But I had like some really big pop-off moments that drew big noise from the crowd and all that, and like that type of deal. And like back in like I was hearing like the crowd like kind of like some like crowd like discussing the things behind me, like definitely like being very entertained with how I was with like my play style I was doing there. But he eventually won at the end too, and then he got booed off stage and all that. That's a big deal. My housemate got booed for winning the game there. That's a big deal because like because everyone was wanting for me to win. But yeah, that was like some of my like more like fun experiences overall though, I would say. It's just like that competitive aspect there. And I'm not sure if I'll really do any more of them, honestly, because like consistently like in the fighting games I've only made it to the top 8, and then I never got lower or above that. So in a way I kind of feel like maybe I just plateaued in a sense for like some of these here. But yeah, that's been some of my more favorite game experience, was just some of these competitive aspects of it.
Are you a competitive person, Fuji?
Relatively. Like I think it just so happens that like the people I surround myself happen to be really strong players, especially in like the fighting game scene. Like that, like for example, some of the people that like my housemate, he knows a guy that was like I think it was like the #1 or #2 Rachel and Blaze Blue Central Fiction and all that type of deal in like in the US. That type of deal. So it's like he was extremely high up there. And then like my housemate himself, like that, he did extremely well in Evo in all the categories he played in. He made it to top 120 in Dragon Ball Fighters and stuff like that type of deal. And then he made it to like he plays really well in the other games that he played in too. Like nothing like that was like, oh, that was gonna be like top 8 or whatever, top 16. He never got that far. But like relatively speaking, for not being a semi-pro or a pro, he did extremely well. And that's like I happen to have like really strong competitors, which naturally meant that I got pretty good, and also meant that I got pretty salty because I couldn't beat them. So I always try to improve to get to a point where I can try to beat them with like very marginal, I guess, like record improvements. But then like when I go against like people that aren't at that level, I tend to perform pretty well. But I don't know, I guess like when it comes to competitiveness, it's more like maybe I'm not like the type of fiery competitor that a lot of people have, but it's like at the same time, it's like when I play these type of games I enjoy, I want to be pretty good at them too. That type of deal on that, I guess. Maybe not much different than anyone else, but it's like there is some type of like competitive fire to it, because I will definitely go and like lab some stuff out and whatnot. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite fighting game?
Probably like the one I played. I only played a few since Fighters was the first one that I really dedicated myself. But I enjoyed Soul Calibur when 6 when it actually released. I tried to get really into it. Had a bunch of fun with a lot of people and stuff like that. But eventually, like there wasn't a big player base for it, and that type of deal. So like I stopped. So like eventually I stopped playing it, and then I wanted to get into Tekken and Street Fighter, and now that they have the new announcements for Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6. You know,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Now it's about time that maybe I
Yeah.
actually learned to craft that type of idea. Because my big worry about getting into it at the time was like, you know, what if there's a new game around the corner? That type of idea is like like even though you could transfer a lot of the fundamentals you learn from those games to their sequels, at the same time for me it's like, I feel like I wouldn't want to learn this until like only for it to be like, oh yeah, new game like next year or something. That type of deal. Even though it doesn't really matter ultimately. Yeah. But yeah, like I'd probably say like, yeah, Soul Calibur 6 or Fighters pre season 2 and 3 were probably my favorite ones there, because after that it got kind of wild and I stopped playing. And Soul Calibur 2, after they had their season 1 of that, they changed up a lot of stuff and I hadn't touched the game since then.
Talk about this. Talk about disappointments.
Yeah.
Do you have a type of like a fighting game character you like or you're into, like that
yeah.
you gravitate towards?
I always like the very versatile characters. I know that's very broad, but like, yeah, I guess like some general like ideas, like if you played any of these games up. In Soul Calibur 6, I was a Keyleth player. That's how a deal. Partially because I love the bow staff, because it reminded me of the Monkey King. That type of deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, and I also like his
So,
versatility because he had a lot of range, but he can also do some mid like range attacks as well. That type of stuff. And then he has like a few nasty mix-ups too that he can pull off on some people on that. That they just would not maybe be ready for. And then in fighters, I like the one character I loved the most was Piccolo. That type of deal, because I like how he wasn't like overused compared to a lot of other people, and then I just also like his tool set that he had too. You know that. But yeah,
Wasn't
like
he nuked?
Hmm?
Wasn't he nuked with nerfs?
Yeah, he got nerfed.
Yeah, he got nerfed over time because he was part of the infamous snapback meta and all that. That's a deal, which was like partially why I was doing pretty well with him too, was the snapback meta too. But I still did pretty well with him afterwards too. But it was like, because he was such a prominent character during that era, that also just elevated me too for a while.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, in fighting games, I normally like to play a bit more like, not necessarily balanced, because I don't really play like Ryu or Ken in Street Fighter, that type of deal. Like I don't think I really played him, but I do like having like certain options and a few mix-ups to go with it. But I'm not exactly like rush down heavy nor very defensive.
I'm very rush down heavy. I like
Yeah, Rush.
bunga bunga. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I don't know what I consider.
Yeah, like I guess like in a way I kind of like my characters to have a little bit of finesse, which like Piccolo kind of had and Keyleth kind of had. That type of deal as well. Like the aesthetic of it too helps on that. Like I think like for Street Fighter 6 for example, like that. I've actually like Manon has actually captured my attention. She looks like she's like some type of grappler. Something like that.
Yeah, I think it says she's a grappler.
Yeah, like yeah. So that's the one I think I'll probably play when it comes out there. Yeah.
For me, like I always like characters that like have things to do. Even though it's like rush down characters, I like characters that give you a little more like thinking to do.
Yeah.
Like for Guilty Gears, there's what's his name? It's the fucking dude with the gun. I forgot his name.
Oh shit.
Happy Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really weird with his like gun movements and shit. But I always like playing him like that. Even though I'm terrible at him, I just like his Strive.
Yeah, Strive, I was a Ramlethal main. During that time.
That was a time,
Yeah, or like Milia. I really like Milia, how she moves.
Yeah.
I really want to try to recharge Jacko because it's been a long time.
Yeah, I was a Ramlethal main back then on it, so it was like, yeah, when I was playing Strive on it. So yeah, that was like me. But alright, let's go ahead and move on to our next question. Alright, so anyway, the next one here is, what is your most disappointing game that you have ever played? And why don't you start us off, Alex, here?
There's so many of them. Like there's some like there's one like called there's a game called Dirty Bomb, which is an FPS like free to play game, which is like really great. I'm not disappointed of it because it's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm just more disappointed by the fucking company that made it. You just think they had like a really cool idea, like a really good game that they just squander it by with little development as they had. But if I had to pick a game like the most one, like there's so many most disappointing games, like fucking I really hated like Persona 5 when it came out, and I still do for the story. But like I think the most hated, like most disappointing game was um Soul Hackers 2.
Oh, weren't you excited for that one for a
I
while?
was so excited
Yeah.
for it, and it was so dog shit.
I forgot to ask you about that because I remember you said like you had it pre-ordered or something like that. That's a video, didn't you? Or whatever.
I paid like fucking $80 for it.
Yeah.
Fucking played the whole.
Oh, yeah,
DLC.
Yeah, he mentioned it on
I
stream one time.
I feel like the special edition, no?
Yeah, I did. It's really disappointing because I really like SMT5 when it came out, or was it 6? Either way, it was so good. But then fucking Soul Hackers fucking 2 came out. And it was like the most god awful game I played. And the problem with it is like I always say like Persona is like Megami Tensei games, but for babies. Soul Hackers 2 is for like newborn babies.
What made it like
damn,
so
that
like
analogy.
what made you like, you know,
Jeez.
have that particular like take on it there? I don't know anything about the game, so it's like yeah.
Because thinking about like Shin Megami Tensei has like they have a lot of the gameplay focuses on weaknesses. Like SMT has the turn base. No, what's it called? Oh, fuck. What's it called? I'm forgetting the name. Either way, basically if you hit a weakness, you get an extra turn. In Persona, you get an extra action, which is like the same character do another movement thing. In SMT, you don't get anything of that. You don't get really anything. You hit their weakness, you get a all-out attack, like because when you hit a weakness, you build up a meter, and at the end of your turn of all 4 characters, how many times you hit the weakness, you do one big attack, and that's all the gameplay. Nothing else. Think of like all the Persona games you played, all the Shin Megami Tensei games you played. Delete like all the mechanics, and that's it.
Oh wow.
I wouldn't know because
Wow.
my brother just bought the game, so I had to ask him when he finishes.
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty bare bones in terms of the combat.
The characters are cool. The art style is amazing. Fucking gameplay's shit. It's so boring to play. They updated the game so you could like ×2 the game because it's so boring.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, you can't talk to the demons. You can't do anything to demons. You have to go to like in game. You can't do like any like the demon conversations. You have to go out like you basically walk around the map. You talk to a demon and they become your friend, and that's it. There's no effort to it or anything.
Really?
Yep. They're just your friend.
Oh, that's
Forced friendship, let's go. Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, you just talk to a fucking demon and he's like, yo, you want to be my friend? Sure.
That's it.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a forced friendship with me to me.
It's so fucking disappointing.
I'm sorry to hear that. What did you get out of those $80 outside like the shitty
And the
game?
DLC and costumes and shit. And
Oh, so-
music.
Okay. Well, I guess the music maybe at least is.
And some DLC for something? I forget the DLC.
Oh, it was like for another game or something, or.
Yeah, it was like I think it was a reference to the original game.
Ah, okay.
You get the original. Yeah, some of the demon characters you get like for the Soul Hackers. For the 3DS, you get some of the characters as demons that you could use. But like it doesn't matter because you're fucking strong as fuck, like all the time.
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear.
I'm so annoyed.
I'm sorry to hear
Thinking
that.
about it, I'm so mad. I get heated every time I think about it.
I think
Stop thinking
that
about it,
does
Ben.
make it a good contender for the most disappointing game that you have played.
Like I don't hate it. It's just so disappointing.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's understandable. All right, War. How about yours? What was your most disappointing game you have played?
Fucking Watch Dogs.
The first or the second one?
Oh, I knew this was coming.
First one.
Okay, yeah. Go give us the deets.
Oh my god. After a while, it's like I was like during the first ET like gameplay of it, I thought everything was gonna be there, like the oh, you could actually hack everything. No, it's just very basic and shit. And then like when I pre-ordered it, I get like a free coupon for a hot dog place.
Oh, that's actually kind of great.
That was your pre-order? Damn!
Yeah, that was my pre-order bonus. Coupons for hot dogs.
Oh my god.
Did you make use of it?
Yes, I made use of it because it was gonna expire like 2 2 weeks.
Ah.
Was it good hot dog?
It would have been better if you say you didn't make use of it because you couldn't find this hot dog place.
The hot dog place was across the GameStop I was going to. But yeah, when I first played it, I thought I liked it, but after a while, it got very repetitive, and then the hacking was very basic. I played the second one; it was alright, but it still doesn't change the bad taste in my mouth with the first one.
Yeah, I actually got to play the second one too because Ubisoft gave it for free on their idea. So I played some of it. I didn't play all of it. Like, I thought it was entertaining, but it definitely felt like, you know, the whole like you could. The thing that how they always kept marketing it as like, yeah, everything's hackable. That video was definitely overstating it there for sure.
It was a lie. I did play the Bad Blood. I did play the Bad Blood DLC. At least that was enjoyable. But everything, the first campaign and then the DLC and then the second one's campaign, nah, I'm just done.
Yeah, I completely forgot about like the hype behind Watch Dogs when it was like announced at the time. Yeah.
I was super hyped with it. That's why I bought the pre-order and then I got the.
It's a really cool idea.
They gave me coupons for hot dogs. I was like, okay.
Such a cool idea.
They have like the newest one is like Legions or something, isn't it, or whatever?
Yeah. Grandma and shit.
It doesn't give you like a definitive prototype. You just beat anybody you want.
Yeah, grandma.
Yeah, that's like I remember.
Everyone was like, "Be a grandma."
Beat the grandma.
I
didn't buy it though, so like I was so burnt out with the series, I didn't buy it.
Probably a good choice at that point. If you were like burnt out from it, you may as well just see what people say before you dared get another one. Yeah. Probably a smart decision to say the least there.
Yep.
Alright, what about you, Kou? What's your most disappointing game that you have played?
I can think two off the top of my head.
You took two.
Yeah, I have two. Like one is Transistors. It's been a while since I played it, but I remember not liking the story and like the
Unsubscribing.
Okay, fine, go ahead. Yeah, Alex knows this. I don't really like Transistor. It was disappointing. I didn't hate it. It's just that I feel like a lot of potential kind of just got thrown out the window somewhere along the way.
Was it the gameplay or the story that got you?
Oh my gosh. I think it's probably a mix of both.
Both?
Mostly the
Okay.
story, yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot from people who play that game.
Yeah. I mean, I like the aesthetics. The
It's a
gameplay
very
was
beautiful
fine.
game.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game. Soundtrack was great. It's just that somewhere, like I think it was probably near end game where it's like, oh yeah, they kind of just like throw everything out the window, and I'm like, so why am I playing this again? May as well try and finish it. Yeah.
The
I don't
pretty
blame people for
pictures.
not liking that one.
Yeah. I mean, I do like other games. I mean, I haven't played Hades, but I have played Bastion, which is by the same people, right? And
Yes, I do.
Bastion was fun. I liked it.
That was I remember like when that came out, everyone loved it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The voice actor for the narrator of Bastion is the Sword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then
What was the second one you didn't like? Or like this one?
the second one was more recent. It was Hololive era.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, I was like looking through my Steam library. I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing. I totally forgot about this.
And what is this game about? Yeah.
Okay, Hololive.
It's a horror game featuring or using Hololive stuff.
Yeah, it's a horror game. It's a horror walking simulator of a game. With Hololive VTubers, mostly the girls.
Honestly, the only reason it had hype was because it was Hololive.
Yeah, exactly.
It was never going to work.
It felt like a short game. It was a short game too.
Oh, it was way too short. They had so much potential, but it was so short.
Apparently, it had like multiple endings when I checked.
Yeah, it had. Yeah, when I checked, it had 4 endings. I'm like, how?
You can even tell how to get the other endings.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, really? I have seen how, but it's like it's so. Oh my gosh, you had to pay attention
Hit
to
or miss it,
details, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What was it about?
Okay,
sorry, go on.
oh my gosh, the story is basically you are playing as a
Investigator, I guess.
investigator / journalist trying to like figure out what happened in this like rural town that had an earthquake, and there was like people were saying that like there was like ghost sightings or something.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and so like, and the ghost turns out to be like this. Turned out to be, I believe, the first ever Hololive VTuber. I forgot her name. I remember.
Achan, right?
No, not
No.
Achan.
No,
Sora?
it's Soda. Yeah, Soda.
Yeah, Sora. Yeah. So and so it's basically you go into this abandoned school and you start literally just walk. You walk and you just see like jump scares everywhere. And then you keep repeating this multiple times. You just keep walking.
I got the summary right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Main character is a journalist for an occult magazine. Inspired by his grandfather, he has to come to a town of Aogama to investigate a strange happenings over there. One moment he's in the hotel room, the next he finds himself entangled in a terrifying paranormal phenomenon.
Yeah.
That's basically it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of what you told me about like how it only became big because the Hololive thing is the Hololive VTubers were involved with. It kind of reminds me of like the 2000s, like where like they had all these horrible movie licensed video games in a way.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they even have like an anime short on YouTube to connect this to the game. I still haven't watched it yet. But oh my God,
it's all right. From when I watched it, at least it's
Mhm.
better than the fucking game, I guess. 'Cause you basically follow Sora.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, so it's basically a prequel to the game.
I guess because it follows like two timelines, I guess, or like shattered
Yeah.
minds she's formed through.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to use a Hololive
Oh
name?
yeah, it is.
It's
It is
their
'cause
game.
It is made
It's
by
their game.
Hololive.
It's their game. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's made
Yeah,
by
yeah.
HoloCore.
It's not a fan game. It's an actually official game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's an
official
game.
title.
Oof.
Yeah.
Movie licensed video games are back in on the some VTubers.
Oh my God.
We're making a Kou Amashita one. I mean, soon.
Give me like 3 months to actually work with Unity. I do have the Unity stuff. I just haven't. I've been lazy with doing those lessons.
I guess.
3D modeling is a bitch.
It's fine. You already did all the work for me.
Gotta make the donut.
The donut.
It's gonna be her and a donut for like 3 hours.
It's just her numbing on a donut all day.
You know that would be cute, but still, it's a bitch.
If there is a giant donut you could try and nom on.
I can't wait. Her tower defense game is coming soon.
Oh my God.
You gotta defend the Yakuza.
It's gonna be her fighting against chat messages. And it gets longer for more health.
It's
my God.
cringy. It's cringy chat messages she has to block through.
Oh my God, that sounds fun. No joke.
Oh, anyway, Strider, what has been your most disappointing game you have played?
My most disappointing game that I've played is Assassin's Creed Unity.
That was a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Was it the
'Cause
bugs or what? Yeah, go ahead.
It was the bugs and the story, because the thing is, prior to this, Assassin's Creed story was kind of already declining in quality because they got rid of more of the original story by that point, but there was still something there.
I mean, 3 did really good.
3 did good. 4 was more of, it was good because of the gameplay and character rather than the other story parts around it.
I guess like the reason why 4 is like it's because of the ship mechanics.
No, 4 was just a good game to play. Just the story was carried by the main character.
To be honest,
4
I don't
Black
remember
Flag.
much of the story.
Yeah.
Just remember the ship mechanics.
The thing is, and Unity was the one where it was like, yeah, no, definitively, the story does not make any sense anymore. Because I was following the Assassin's Creed story, like really hardcore, and I started thinking of theories and stuff, and then Unity came out and just kind of stopped caring after that.
I kind of stopped caring after Desmond died.
Like I think Assassin's Creed in-game world is like a video game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's connected to Watch Dogs, if I remember right. 'cause
It's the entire all the Ubisoft games are connected now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently ever since Watch Dogs.
Yeah, and it was like with all the bugs, it was unplayable. Then it was like the story itself wasn't satisfying. The final boss of what was supposed to be the story was finished in a comic of all things, not even in the game.
They did it like that. They did a lot of that.
And then they went and rebooted the entire story, and now it doesn't make sense.
But I remember they had to make one of the Dead Kings DLC for free because of how buggy and messed the game was.
Yeah. And then it's like now Assassin's Creed isn't really even Assassin's Creed. It's just a MMO sandbox now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're going back to their roots with the latest one, I believe.
I heard that, but I'm just like, I don't really care much.
And we're finally getting the ninja one, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
It's funny. They said they were never gonna do a ninja one because it was too obvious. And look where we are now.
They finally did it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
The 2D ones.
Yeah.
I'll start going, Fuji.
Yeah, I was just say like it's funny because with Unity there are a lot of like people nowadays that actually compared to like how it was when it came out. Like apparently a lot of people actually nowadays are actually seeing it in a much more positive light because of like
Yeah, I heard
certain
good things about Unity.
yeah like
Unity now is like with all the fixes to it is like the gameplay can actually be enjoyable. The parkour is amazing. Actually,
yeah
has,
that
like,
was the big one.
Parkour system in all of Assassin's Creed. You're still feeling as if you're an assassin in that game where from Origins onward it's just like open fight simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one's the grappling hook one?
It's the England one.
Yeah,
yeah,
Syndicate. Syndicate
Yeah,
was
that's
just
it.
more. Syndicate was just more just under. No one noticed it because it was like Assassin's Creed was more or less dead when Syndicate came out.
I kind of feel like it's underrated sometimes, but my brother.
Is. It's underrated, but it's like I don't really think there's much to do with it.
My brother loved it, but he didn't like the ending.
Hmm.
That's the one with twins, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
the
one
one-
twins.
You had to pick one of them though sometimes.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's like that definitely. I remember like when Unity came out, I was kind of excited for it just because it had Napoleon in it, who's my favorite historical figure. You know that, but then I went on YouTube at the time to look up the scenes of him, and he's only in there for like 2 or 3 scenes, and then that's it. You know that, and a like cameo appearance in the DLC, so it doesn't really do too much. You know that.
Yeah.
I forget the cameo appearance was him getting arrested, right?
Well, in the DLC, like the Dead Kings, whatever, he's already emperor by then. On that, so like you see him like they like give out some type of order, and then that's about it, really. On that, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah. So like, in the end, he didn't get as much as I thought, like much spotlight as I thought he would have in there.
They said he was gonna be something
They
big.
think he was gonna be more important than what he actually ended up being.
Yeah, because like I
They
remember the
fucking
trailers like
lied.
featured him quite a bit in there too. So yeah, that was what like
But
threw
they
me off.
basically spoiled it.
Yeah. But alright, yeah, thanks for sharing, Strider. Alright, Ryu, what is your most disappointing game you have played for you?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I feel like I have the most unique perspective on this, given how much this franchise means to me. Like, spoiler alert, one of my favorite video game franchises of all time is Kingdom Hearts. Okay, unabashedly, I love the games, grew up with them. The amount of hype behind 3 was so big, and something just felt off. Like, okay, I have a question for the people in chat here.
Oh.
Who here has played Kingdom Hearts 2?
Me, yeah.
Me,
I played the PSP one.
sadly.
Okay, the PSP one also applies to this. Okay, thank you. So, you know how in those games, like how it just felt good to just move around and just fight in combat?
Yeah.
Like you had the ability to like do so much on the fly and like improvise like combos and stuff like that.
Kind of, yeah.
Especially with the magic and stuff.
Yeah, the controls are much more tight.
Yeah. Just I did not have that kind of similar like feeling of control with 3. Now keep in mind, like I got through the original 3. Like I haven't even gone back to play the DLC. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It's just
Neither have I. Like
You can ask Fuji for experience because he did play the DLC.
Yeah, but go ahead, Rhea,
No,
first.
it's-
I'll get to it one day. I just can't right now. But like I tried. Like I got through the entire game. I'm fine with the story. I'm as convoluted as the Kingdom Hearts timeline is. I was fine with the story. Absolutely fine with it. But then it's just like they try to include so much into like the battle mechanics, everything like that. That I think it was just too much.
Mhm.
There was too many things. Is that even a thing?
That could be a thing, yes.
too many mechanics where it's good.
Like, let me. All right. So general combat, understandable. Traversal of a big terrain, I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine. They didn't really do much with it beyond the Mount Olympus level. Overall, flow movement and the ability of and the shot lock ability from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep being added. Absolutely love the shot lock mechanic. Thank you. The Disney World rides that come in at random.
So stupid.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Go home. You're drunk. Just why was that in there?
Was it that bad? Because kind of looks like fun.
It wasn't. It was fine at first, but then you're
one
just
shot bosses.
yeah. But then they one shot bosses, and I'm like, well, this just takes away like all of like
The skill.
the skill and everything like that. Like, case in point, I'm still in the midst of going through a level 1 run on Kingdom Hearts 1. I am having so much fun on that, even though it's frustrating as all get out.
When is the next one, by the way? I was meaning to ask.
As soon as I can get like my living situation figured out, like I'm gonna go back to it. I'm going to go back to it. I know where I left off, and I need to get back to it.
Man.
I know I'm behind on so much stuff in terms of content, but and I was having such a fun time with that, and I love the series, and I wanted to give it a shot, but it's just like, okay, so you have all these like random Disney World rides that come in, and just all this like. It just broke it. I was fine with the transforming Keyblades. That at least added like a nice element. It was kind of like 3's version of like the different style changes from Birth by Sleep, which I did end up liking. But it's just like there was too much added in. It felt very beginner friendly. And this is kind of like going to like what Alex was saying about your most disappointed game. It's just like it felt like something was lost in translation when it came to the battle mechanics, that everything was just like watered down and made a little bit too easy. But at the same time, there was like so much content crammed in that it's just like, well, how do you want to do this? But also it's just like you're basically trying to juggle like 8 things, which includes a chainsaw, a pie, a fiery bowling pin, a elephant randomly, an elephant randomly, a jar full of rusty nails, and what else? Oh yeah, a cat with rabies.
Don't forget 2 movies, 2 Disney movies in there.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Define decent on them. We're talking about the Pixar movies, right?
I didn't say decent movies. I said two
Disney movies.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's true.
What were the worlds in 3? Because you said only 2.
The worlds in 3 were they returned to Olympus for Hercules. They did Toy Story. They did Monsters Inc. Pirates of the Caribbean 3, Big Hero 6, Frozen, and Tangled.
Expect Marvel and Kingdom Hearts 4.
That's actually rumored.
Honestly, yeah.
Like no joke. I mean, isn't Big Hero 6 technically Marvel?
Technically, yeah, it is. It's the only, I think, animated thing that could be considered Marvel.
Yeah, because
Well, actually, it is Marvel. It is the Marvel comics.
Yeah, because Stan Lee makes a cameo in it, so technically it counts as a Marvel film. Damn it!
As a Stan Lee.
So wait, does that mean that Teen Titans Go is also a Marvel film because Stan Lee makes a cameo in there too?
No, Stan Lee does more superhero cameos than Marvel.
I know, but still, I had to make it.
I think he cameoed in that one superhero movie that Jake Bell was in.
But let's not forget the greatest Stan Lee cameo of all time, Princess Bride 2. That's not a joke. It's actually true.
I have heard of it. Yeah, I have heard of that one.
It's just randomly. It's like, wait, is that Stan Lee? What the fuck? But yeah, most of my like disappointment with just Kingdom Hearts 3 just came to like how they just handled the combat system, and also like the nerfing of like all original worlds, and it was just like Disney, more Disney, some Pixar, but Disney. Aqua got Norded. Disney.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
It didn't have like proud mode, right, in the beginning, in day one.
It did. Yeah, it did not have critical mode at the time when it launched. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, KH2, even the KH2 Final Mix didn't originally have critical mode until like the re-release for 2.5 and stuff like that. So maybe it was like a later implementation that they weren't able to get to right away in time for launch. So I'm more willing to forgive on the harder mode thing. But this was just, oh man. Like, I'm scared to go. I've heard good things about the Remind DLC, but in my heart it's just like I can't bring myself around to it. I need more time to heal.
Healed the soul.
I can understand the frustration coming out of you, Ryu. Here,
Yeah,
very much so.
It's kind of a weird thing because honestly, it's kind of, for me, like the Kingdom Hearts games, like whenever I complete them, like it's like I instantly want to go back in there and just relive everything and just play everything again. It's like the Dark Souls thing, right? That you just want, like, you beat the game, you instantly just want to like go back in there and try some new stuff.
Dark Souls, I did that like 7 times with the original Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. Like you go in with like a different build or anything like that. That's kind of how it is with like different RPGs for me. It's like, okay, do I want to like go through the game like doing more magic based? Do I want to do more skills? Do I want to just go unga bunga beat down? I mean, you never know.
Just hit it with a stick. Easy answer.
I mean, you can actually do it with your fist if you wanted to in Dark Souls.
That's true. That's very true.
Again, hit it with a stick.
Very annoying though.
I mean, you technically can hit things with a stick in Kingdom Hearts 1, but still.
Well, no, with an actual stick, not a key.
Hey, a wooden sword counts as a stick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, that was very insightful, and that works fine because that was actually my pick too. Not that for me as well.
Let's go, Fuji!
Like, okay, so
man.
yeah, so for me, like the combat, I did not like the floatiness of it. You know, that type of deal. I did not like the fact that you couldn't really cancel out of your animations as well as you could in 2. That's that. But over time, I more or less kind of like accepted it. But my biggest gripe actually was the story for me. Actually, there, like it's kind of funny because this game was like one where it's like when I was playing it, I was like thoroughly enjoying it, and I didn't really have too much problems with it. But then when I finished the game right afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty fun. But you know, why was this like? Why did this thing happen? And you know, in addition to that, why but this? And then it's like, just started unraveling after I finished the game. On that type of deal, and that was like, and then eventually just kind of grew into like a lot of like, you know, disappointment. I mean, because like the big thing I did not like was like so a lot of the Kingdom Hearts, like in the mainline series, they have a certain formula where it's like you visit a few Disney worlds, then you go to their game's equivalent of Hollow Bastion on that for, you know, some big story progression, and then you go back, visit more Disney worlds, that type of deal. You go back to Hollow Bastion for some other progression that happens, then maybe like you might go out and like, you know, do a second run around for some of the Disney worlds before you finally eventually get set up for the final fight, that type of deal.
To be fair on that argument, 2 is the only one that's guilty of that. 2 is the only one that's guilty of like the second go around. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, I can remember Birth by Sleep did it too, because I only played that like I think once or twice, but I was pretty young during the time, and that's like that's why I said like maybe yeah, that one.
But it was amazing because like you were going through 3 different playthroughs.
Yeah, and I think they do that, but it's like once for like the final boss fight, which is more one single fight if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the thing I disliked about like 3's story was like they end up having a lot of gaps. Like so a big part of like I mean, at this point the game's been out long enough, so I'm just gonna say spoilers here. But like yeah, they go through a lot of it where like they make a big deal about how Sora has to find the big power, the power of waking or something like that there, and then in the end it basically just amounted to like you just had to believe harder, type of deal. Like believe much harder to do it, and then he pulls it off. But another thing was like a lot of the stuff that he was ended doing, like Vanitas' like intro, like put like intro in there was like very brief, and it didn't felt like it really amounted to much in the end anyway. And then also like the point of you going to the Disney worlds where they made it that type of deal, like that part annoyed me quite a bit because like in the most of the other games like that, you when you went there there's something particularly at stake there. And then like in 3, if I like as you go through them like that, you're basically only just completing the Disney stories, and then you find out in the end when like Sora meets like I can't remember, I think it was like Larcene maybe, something like that. It's pretty much revealed that like in the end what he was doing was in the kind of meaningless, because all they were really just doing was just like setting up some more princesses just to do basically what they did in the previous games. And in the end, regardless of like if he went there or not, nothing really would have changed, that. And then also like how they handled the plot of the worlds was something I did not like either, because at least in 2, like you can more or less follow the general plot of the movie. That they made it, they kept it relatively like coherent, that. But then when you played in the worlds in 3, like they do such massive jumps that you don't really like know what the heck is going on in terms of like the movie plot. Like part of it's because you don't really have you interact with the characters as much too, and then also part of it's like they just. I feel like for me, it's my personal headcanon. I thought that there was maybe their way of being like, hey, buy these movies if you want to see what actually happens in between. That's a big deal. Because like the Frozen world was really guilty of this, because I remember like wondering like how did it. Oh my god! The Frozen world did massive jumps in their movie plot. That type of deal during the gameplay sections. Like I remember like you go from like basically Elsa, doing the Frozen song and maybe just grieving a little bit. Then all of a sudden the next time you see her, she's getting carried away by like this dude, and it's like I never saw Frozen, so I was like, who the heck is this guy? That type of deal. That's like what does he have to do? And thinking why she's like suddenly just kidnapped basically and all that. So it was like,
is this your man's? Whose man's is this?
Yeah, so it was like, so they had stuff like that, and then they had like, and then the problem was like after like you do some of these Disney worlds like that, you go to the Keyblade graveyard, and like I thought that was just gonna be their big midpoint section, like yeah, there's gonna be some big stuff that happens over here, and then you go back and maybe do some other stuff that's every day. But it turns out it's just nothing but a gauntlet at the end there. And like you literally, once you get to the Keyblade graveyard, you go through everything at once there on that, and that's how I do. And like so like it was like the pace just felt like very sudden at that point in time, because like up to that point in time it was relatively a certain leveled pace, and then all of a sudden you're just doing a big rush to the end at that point, from that point forward on the Keyblade graveyard, which is like one of your first non like Disney worlds or movie worlds. That's how a deal that you go to on that's how it is. So I was surprised that all happened at the end. And also there was like some of the like there's also just big jumps in the plot too that happens, like like you never know what happened to Terra's armor, and like after he clashes with Terra Norton, then all of a sudden it seems like they're all back to normal, that type of stuff, and all that stuff, and like what happened in between, and so on and so forth, and like what happened when the Sora went to that world, what were the other people up to, and why are they like this now, that type of deal. And it was like there was a lot of jumps, and then like one of the things too was like how they tried to redeem Master Xehanort at the end. He was like, oh yeah, like I know I did some really shitty stuff, but I truly regretted it, and only really did it for like for like a good reason. I was like, oh hell no, you did not regret it at all. This guy's a fucking liar. It's like it was shown in multiple times. I mean, the game's like devilishly enjoying torturing like his test subjects and whatnot, and doing all sorts of dastardly deeds in order to get what he wants. There's no way he felt regretful when he was doing that at the time.
Sounds like a complete 180 or just fucking retcon.
It was just like a big like inconsistency, like contradiction, I guess, in terms of like what they were having his character, because they're trying to paint his character as like this, like in a way at the end, like oh in the end he's just a tragic figure that only did it because he wanted the greater good type deal. But it was like, no, this guy was definitely very evil. I mean, he literally killed Kairi in front of Sora, and I think it was pretty happy about it.
Oh my god, my reaction to that happened. I actually paused the game and I shouted, I'm done. I left the room. Hold on, I think I think I actually have that clipped.
But yeah, like I was like, there's no way this guy.
It.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way this guy is like definitely feeling remorseful or like tear or like sad that he was doing all this stuff. No, so like yeah, it was like a lot of it was just like the story plots. Like there was a lot of like big plot holes that happens. Like it's like they have like characters that would show up. And then like all of a sudden they just disappear and you don't know what happened with them and all that type of deal. And then like they show up again, but it sounds like some big things happened. That type of deal. And you just don't know what took place. You know that? And like so like that was like my biggest like gripe with the game. And it was like very disappointing for a long time afterwards. Like I couldn't get myself to actually do much of the post game stuff on it, because at that point I was like yeah, that just kind of disappointed me. The good news was the DLC actually fixes a lot of that stuff and was really good actually. Like they covered they covered a lot of the missing plot holes that were in like the base game, so you actually know like, oh, when this thing like they take you to like, oh, when this thing happened, these are what these other guys were up to, or this is what occurred. So you got to see like what happened with the Terra Nort and his armor. You got to see like what happened there to restore him back to normal and stuff like that, and then you got to see like what the other guys were doing when Sora was in the world of nothingness or whatever, where that's how a deal, like the world, the sky or whatever, that's how a deal. You got to see like what was going on outside of that and all that, and then you got to see like what was it, like you got to do some of the battles with like as the other characters, which is really cool. But the greatest highlight of it actually was the data orgs were really well done for the DLC though. Like the plot was like only lasted like maybe a couple hours, I would say. Maybe 3 hours, maybe like 2 or 3 hours, I would say. But it covered up a lot of like the gaps that it had prior. So it's like, okay, now some of my questions that I had when I was playing this game is more or less answered actually. And all that there. So yeah, that was like great news to say the least. But yeah, the data orgs were fantastic though. Like maybe a lot of the speedrunner community, at least, and on that, like, and a lot of people in general, actually, and me included, I actually think they're much better, like, than they were in 2, which was very good as it was too. But these were extremely creative on that. That's a deal. Like they were like they were creative. They were like tough, and they felt tougher for some of the characters, but they were fair. Like they had patterns you can find and identify with. They had counters that you can like deal, all the, like, it wasn't just like one method you can deal with some, that you have like various methods you can do to deal with some of their moves like that type of deal. So maybe like some of you can counter, or maybe some of you can like attack them at a certain point, that type of deal when they do that move. So it was like, it was really, they did a fantastic job with the DLC overall though on that. Like, and it seems like generally the consensus is, that's the general consensus is that they did a really good job with it on that. But yeah, the data, or yeah, and they had a really great secret boss fight that had that, like, I remember when Zora was out on that, like, for the fight, there was a lot of salt over that. But no, because they thought he was like hella busted, but no, he was actually a pretty fair boss too in the end though, while also being very flashy too.
And also being voiced by one of the twins from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When I found out he was voiced by one of the Sprouse twins, I'm like, oh my god, they're just bringing in all the old Disney Channel stars from the early 2000s to voice characters at this point.
Yeah, I just saw the clip and I find it fucking funny.
That was hilarious.
You know, my favorite clip of like Kingdom Hearts 3 is like Sora doing a selfie mid-battle. That's two fucking bosses try to attack him but keep missing him.
That sounds like a funny clip.
It's really funny.
Yeah, but yeah, I do recommend the DLC though if you ever have plans to get it though. Like, even have a nice like fight with like Sora and Kairi against like Master Xehanort and so that, which was actually well done and stuff like that too. Like a lot, they did like, for like the disappointment that the base game was, they did an extremely good job with the DLC. That, like, I have not saw any like big Kingdom Hearts streamer fan or whatever that really disliked the DLC, other than maybe some of them thought the data orcs fights were too hard or something like that. But I personally think they were actually pretty fair. Like, there would be some that like you would be extremely frustrated about for sure on that, but like that's kind of what the data orgs are supposed to be like on that. But then in the end though, like, they're all very fair though. But if you're only gonna get it for like the plot, I would not actually like recommend it, because it only lasts you like 2-3 hours on that for the price, which isn't really worth it in my opinion. even though it covers up a lot of loose ends, even has some extra stuff in it too. On that, but it was like, but yeah, overall, like as a whole though, it was very like it was a great DLC. They even put in Final Fantasy characters in there, though they're just there for you to chat. They don't do anything else.
Base game didn't even allow me to play as Roxas. I'm still pissed about that.
And you can do it in the DLC, which is nice. On that, yeah.
They didn't have it in the base gameplay originally. I'm still pissed.
Yeah, like they did a lot of stuff like in the DLC that was like they should have done this in the main game, but well done for what you did in this DLC at least. Yeah.
Roxas is my fucking boy, and you don't allow me the honor of playing him. God damn it, Nomura.
Buy the DLC, they say.
I like Vanitas a lot.
The funny thing is that the DLC came free, and yes, I do like Vanitas as well. So
yeah, like that's why I was disappointed because like in 3 he didn't really do much in the end. He shows up, he has a cool dramatic moment where he almost like kills Sora or whatever. Only basically for I don't know who the Monster Inc. characters are, like Larry and who is the other guy, the blue one?
Sully.
Oh, that's Sully.
Yeah, like
Sully and Mike.
Yeah, they end up bailing him out in the end, and then he doesn't really show up again until the Keyblade graveyard, which is unfortunate.
Except for the confrontation with them in the land of beginning.
On that. Oh, wait, which one is
when they go to wake Ven up?
Oh, okay, yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Now you get to play as Aqua for that one portion of the game, which thank God. Please give me more chances to play as Aqua.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
I love the way she handles in gameplay.
Yeah, but I was just disappointed at like how in the end he didn't really have as big of a role as I would have liked because I really loved this character on that overall. Yeah.
Bird by Sleep is my favorite Kingdom Hearts.
I definitely have fond memories of that one for sure. I love the story in that one.
I placed Birth by Sleep literally in like the top triad pantheon of like the 3 best Kingdom Hearts games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely love the story in Birth by Sleep overall. It was fantastic on that.
I just like how they use magic and skills in that. So.
Mm-hmm. But all right. Anyway, yeah, I think that will be it for us for tonight, fellas. Yeah, thanks for sharing our gaming experiences, and yeah, I'll catch you all next time.
Night, everybody.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Right.